This module may be the most important one in the series. You cannot write the way you speak. Our speaking voice, when used to write a story, is boring. No one will want to read it. New writers tend to write the way they speak, which makes for awful stories. Let's look at a few examples of how we speak. Then I'll rewrite the examples into a writing voice. I'll use these examples to convince you you need a writing voice. Listen to the way people speak. We use was or were in almost every sentence. Don't write that way. Use alternate verb constructions. This is not easy to do, but it's well worth it. It will vastly improve your writing. Once again, I'll emphasize that what I'm talking about is developing a writing voice that is quite different from your speaking voice. And a writing voice limits was and were usage to the minimum. There's not much to say that isn't on the slide. Try reading a story where the writer uses several ing words in every paragraph. It's irritating. My biggest peeve is excessive adverbs, which we use constantly in our speaking voices. Granted, this is a personal opinion. Other writers like adverbs. The adverb hesitantly can be changed to he shuffled along as if unsure in which direction he should go. Imploringly, change this to show a woman pleading for help. Root out these sentence constructions ruthlessly. Excuse my adverb, this is speech, not writing. Adverbs cut down on the number of words used, but replacing the adverb with showing is much more pleasing to the reader. Using adverbs is the easy way out. Excessive adverbs is lazy writing, in my humble opinion. Still another example of our manner of speaking getting into our writing. These words can be important to the understanding of a sentence, but oftentimes they are simply empty words used almost as punctuation marks. If you write dialogue using your writing voice, it will be stilted and unnatural. Dialogue, to appear natural, must be written in a speaking voice, but not the author's speaking voice. It must use the character's speaking voice. A banker's speaking voice will be different from a truck driver's speaking voice. A college professor will sound different from a street punk. So write dialogue in your character's speaking voice. One objective in writing dialogue is to have every character have a unique speaking voice. If the characters all sound alike, the reader will tend to mix them up, and that leads to confusion. I had to work hard to develop these examples. These are examples of a speaking voice used in place of a writing voice. These are based on actual stuff I've read when critiquing other writers. Read these examples out loud to get the full effect. You'll notice they don't sound all that bad. It's the writing that's terrible. There's 5 adverbs here in 28 words. This cries out to be rewritten. Rewritten using a writing voice. Which version do you think a reader would prefer? Another common mistake. Every noun doesn't need a modifier. This has extremely excessive modifiers, 7 in one sentence. Almost 20% of the word are modifiers, 7 out of 33. Using excessive modifiers can make the reader uncomfortable. This writing voice version uses 20 words instead of 33. That's a 40% reduction. This one has to be read out loud to appreciate it. Note the sing-song effect excessive ing words gives to the sentence. There's 6 ing words out of 21. Here is the writing voice version of the previous slide. This example is a work of art. I'm proud of it. I had to resist the urge to rewrite it as I composed it. This is another example that has to be read out loud, a stunning example of using a speaking voice to write fiction. So what's the problem with the underlined words? All of them are perfectly good words. Why did I underline them? I hope I proved my point about the difference between speaking and writing voices. That concludes the storytelling techniques lectures. I hope you found them useful.